got the wide shot.
There was. You had accountability. Now, what I can.
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where? Give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently, there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
Before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another episode of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
That'd be me.
Yeah. How you doing tonight, Cliff?
I'm all right.
Doing all right?
I'm all right in here.
How was your week?
It was a rough one.
It
was a rough one, but that's to be expected by now.
Right.
What can you do? Push through.
I feel you. Like, this week for me was, on paper, looked like it was going to be a cakewalk, and I'm more drained after this week than anything else. So, any week in a little while. So,
I wouldn't quite go that far, but starting out Monday, I did peg it to be an easier week moving forward.
Yeah.
Once I got past that Monday.
And then it never got easier.
No, not one bit. But I don't expect it to, and I expect next week to be worse. I don't have a reason for it to be. I just expect that, so.
Well, I mean, it's the whole, people say I'm a pessimist. I consider myself a realist. If you expect the worst, then you could be nothing but happily surprised.
Listen, period. But I already know, listen, the way my life is positioned, there's no room for optimism. You can say that.
Damn.
You can say that. You can say it's gonna be a great day. It's all that. But let's be honest. Eventually, it's delusions of grandeur, and it's like, come on, what are you doing here?
Right.
You can't keep thinking that.
You can't continue to talk yourself into it being a good situation.
And then you start thinking like, am I fucking crazy? Like, am I crazy? What's going on?
What the fuck am I doing? What is this my fault?
No. Gotta keep going. Shit.
I mean, that's in my mind, that's still better than the alternative. So.
Right. Ain't nobody gonna run it for you.
Right.
Run, Forrest.
Run.
Right.
Well, this is another one of those shows where we don't have any topics, so.
Seat of the pants. Slide by it.
Here we go again.
So you want to get us started? Any inadvertents you want to cover off?
I did have a pretty deep inadvertent, and.
Uh-oh.
It was a pretty deep inadvertent. So I was watching a movie. I don't know if you've seen it on HBO Max. The New Mutants.
No, but I'm aware of it. Like, it was going to be in like the Fox X-Men universe.
Right.
And it got pushed like 8 years by the time it was all said and done. Like,
For
Macy
real?
Williams, the girl from Game of Thrones, is in it. But it's like from like
Is she?
midway through Game of Thrones.
Wait, who's the girl from Game of Thrones? Oh yeah,
Arya.
yeah, she is.
But I haven't seen it. It was one of those ones, and honestly, thank you for telling me it's on HBO Max, because I saw it available for like rent or whatever, but I had heard such mixed things about it. I'm like, nah, I'll wait till it comes.
And it's a mix, right? I can see why you say that. It's like, it's a good, when you really think about it, and I feel like we have similar minds.
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the movie you're let down.
Okay.
But it's like
That's
after
most
you
movies, though.
after you really think about it, you're like, I guess that's not bad. I guess that's not a.
It doesn't mean just because you're let down at the end of a movie because it doesn't end the way you think it's gonna end doesn't mean that it's a bad movie.
Right. So just to give you an idea without giving away the movie, of course you know the background. They kidnap the kids who are mutants who have powers, and they say that they can't release them to the world until they've learned to control their power, and the main girl doesn't know what her power is.
Okay.
And that's the whole movie. She doesn't know what it is.
But they've tagged her for some reason.
Right, and they
Do
can't.
you as the audience figure it out before she does, or does she figure it out at the same time the audience does?
She doesn't figure. I don't even think she figured it out at the end of the movie.
Okay.
And that's what's so.
That's interesting to me.
That's what's so blah about it, because it's like when you think about it at the end of the movie, you're like, is that even a good power?
Okay, so but the audience does figure out what it is, or they tell the audience what the power is.
They don't tell you what it is.
Oh.
You just kind of formulate it yourself.
Okay.
And the idea behind it is, while they're in this facility, they're testing them to see how powerful they may be.
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying?
Which tracks with like X-Men universe, like round up the mutants, register them.
Right. So they're doing all these tests on her, trying to see what her power is, because she doesn't know it, they don't know it, but all they keep getting back is dangerous levels, like get rid of her. She's too powerful.
The X gene or whatever, and it's off the charts. It's like
basically
Star Wars and midi-chlorians. Like she's got a high count.
You've lost me there, but
yeah, same idea.
I trust you. But yeah, like she's too dangerous for them to hold her there, type shit. But she doesn't know it, and they don't know why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's basically, so the end of the movie, of course, it shows itself. Which is, and you see how I use those words. Yeah. It shows itself.
Okay.
Because it's almost like she can't even control her power.
So it's kind of like my guess with that wording is it's kind of like Jean Grey in Phoenix.
Very close.
Okay.
But she's not Jean Grey.
Gotcha.
You feel me? She's a sweetheart.
It's a similar kind of concept.
Right. She's a sweetheart, but her power is so powerful, she can't even control it. Because she really doesn't know what it is.
Which, depending what round of X-Men you're talking about, that was kind of the same deal with Jean and Phoenix.
It? Yeah. Her power took over her, which is what made her.
So I want to say like
this wouldn't be in that same realm. There's no way her power could take over her to make her anything. Gotcha. It's just a weird power, I'll say.
Okay, all right.
Because at the end I was like, that's a dumb fucking power. But then I thought about it and was like, that's the best power almost anyone could have if you really think about it.
Oh, see, now I need to watch it. You've done enough to hook me to make me watch it.
Listen, and I don't want to give you... Damn, now it's kind of hard to even do my Introvert without giving some of it away.
Give it away, man. Like, I'll watch the movie still. So, spoiler alert for New
Maybe
Mutants.
not yet. Maybe I can get around this. Listen, I'm a magician, so.
Well, let's hear it.
So basically, there was a specific line in the movie that got my gears turning.
Okay.
And it was a point where her father, first of all, she's Indian. And I don't mean Indian like Hindu, or she's like a Native American Indian. So you already know where that goes, like, you know, one with nature and things like that. So her dad says and I guess I have to explain this as well, and this doesn't spoil anything, but in their facility, of course, they can't let the mutants get out, so there's a big dome, like a force field dome around
around the complex,
right?
Or whatever.
But you can't see it unless you touch it, and if you touch it,
shimmers,
right, it shows like orange, like where you touched it at. So there's a specific point in the movie where her and the other little girl, her little friend, runs off, and she says, "I need to show you something," and they're laying in a graveyard and they're looking up at the sky and it's thundering and lightning, but the rain hadn't hit yet. Then all of a sudden the rain comes and falls onto the dome, and it brightens the dome up, and like they're talking about how beautiful it is and shit. And the little girl, that little Indian girl, says, such a beautiful cage. And the girl from Game of Thrones says, "What do you mean by that? Like, what are you talking about? Where we are?" And she was like, "No, our bodies. My dad always said our bodies are such a beautiful cage because they're not us. We're just stuck inside of them."
Luminous beings are we.
Listen.
Not this crude matter.
Right. Right. You know what I mean? So basically she was saying, like, once you die, that's the free, like you're freed from that beautiful cage of your body.
Which kind of goes against the whole body as a temple. Or does it?
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, because it's almost like your car. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You have to put oil and keep up your car for it to get you where you need to go, even though it means nothing to you.
Yeah.
Other than you getting me where I need to go, that car means nothing to. Now, I don't know if other people are real,
that love their cars,
right?
Yeah.
But, and I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of the way I feel about my body. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
I gotta do enough to keep it running, but other than that,
but I live with a very reckless abandon. You know what I mean? So it got me thinking, like, of course, I've always subscribed to that same way of thinking, just never heard it that way. Mm-hmm. So then and I've talked to my parents a lot this week. Happy birthday, Mom and Dad. I think that's the first time I've ever said that in so long. Mom and Dad.
Oh, it's both their birthdays? Nice.
Yeah, my dad's the 13th, my mom's the 16th.
Well, happy birthday. Pops and Jeannie.
Right. But I've been talking to him, and it's funny, you know what I mean? Because the older you get, the more, of course, you look at your parents differently, because now.
Well, no, because you're closer in age to them. Like,
right, and you start to understand.
Delta between it gets smaller.
Right, you start to understand things, even looking back and all that. Yeah. And I'm thinking of him, or I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I got that from you. I got that from you. Don't quite like that, but that came from you as well. You feel what I'm saying? So it made me think to myself, if this is a beautiful cage, and we are, like you said, for lack of a better word, a luminous soul that leaves us, that would one pull me a little closer into subscribing to the reincarnation aspect.
Okay.
2, it would also make me feel like we're forever linked to our parents.
Yeah.
Because your parents, with me recognizing I got that from you, both of you make up me.
So it's, in theory, like going to the luminous beings language.
Right.
There's a part of light from one, part of light from
exactly.
the other that combine together to form you.
Exactly. So it made me think, like, even beyond, even if there is no reincarnation and we all just float around the atmosphere and that's the heaven of being free.
Yeah.
There's still connections that are made in that. But to become yourself takes pieces of both of them. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like if reincarnation was real, or whatever goes on afterwards, I would not be able to be myself without these two beings coming before me.
True.
You feel what I'm saying?
And that light changes through your own experiences.
Right.
That light, if you subscribe to reincarnation, that light is actually what enters a new form at some point.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have the filing cabinet that you had when you were alive, but you have basically the electric grid behind the filing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that even more makes me think that, like you said, the filing cabinet, everything's in here. Like everything, not just this experience, but everything, the entire existence is here.
That's when you go back to the filing cabinet. No, the galaxies. Yes.
Right.
Is how I would look at
Because
that.
the filing cabinet, it would only be what I put in it while I had it.
Right.
The galaxies are what connect me
Are
to my
ongoing.
ancestors or previous lives or experiences.
And I know Star Wars is like science fiction fantasy.
Yep, let's get it though.
But what they talk about, especially if you read like the books, it doesn't get covered in the movies a ton, but like the books and the shows talk a lot about like there is the physical force, so the energy that connects all living beings, connects the universe, etc. And then there's the cosmic force, which drives everything that happens in the universe, which ties a lot back to your point a couple episodes back where you talked about like, what if we're all just like components of the universe as a living organism?
Right, like our brain, we're the brain of someone else's brain.
Exactly, and that's the principle behind like the cosmic force. So yes, there's the physical force that you hear.
What's
like
that called? The little Russian doll?
The nesting dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the philosophy there is that when you are of the physical, there are two sides. There is the logic, reason, kind of Zen, focus on the moment, focus on what's around, like focus on an individual aspect, and then there's raw emotion, which is pushing out. So there is the quote unquote the light side where it's all inward focused and peace and calm and blah blah blah, and then the dark is always the explosive emotional side of things, which is more pushing energy out into the universe.
Well, that's weird. That's very, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, but that concept, I feel like it doesn't quite apply to me.
No, and honestly, my whole thing is like
I feel like the inward is the dark.
is the dark. I can see that.
What I push out is always
The
vibrant. I try to be vibrant because I don't want to look inward. Because if I
Okay.
start looking inward and that devil pops on my shoulder like, it's not worth it, bro. Do what you're supposed to do here.
Right.
Then it's like, I don't want to bring that out. I got to keep it in. That's that dark shit. That's
I
why,
hear you on that. No, I mean, that makes sense too.
like, nobody wants to, I don't want to say nobody, because there are a lot of, I won't even say crazy. There are a lot of different minds, but
Well, and I think too, that's where you get into like introvert versus extrovert too, right? Like introverts,
I'm an omnivert.
you are a chameleon. You adapt to whatever the situation is. I think you have tendencies of both.
Right.
Like, as much as I believe that you and I are alike in terms of being an introvert, I also see you with a lot of people around you all the time. Now, whether or not that makes you happy or gives you energy is the question, but I don't think I've ever stopped through your place and it just been you there.
Well, that depends on when you stop by.
That's
Usually
true.
you're stopping by, weekend times, and that's different,
Or, 5 o'clock on a Thursday.
Even if I don't want to be bothered, I'm going to be bothered.
Right, I hear you. But anyways, getting back to kind of where you were going. So, tracking back to the kind of body as a cage or a beautiful cage. And we went off talking, I brought up kind of Star Wars and that kind of stuff, reincarnation. Like, at the end of the day, I don't think that there's any way that our existence is just in the physical.
It can't be. No, that's something that it just can't be. And if that's all, I won't say if that's all you see.
Yeah.
I feel like that, and this is a hot topic here, but I feel like that's the mental illness. You know what I mean? I almost feel like the mental illnesses that take place come from wormholes, different, things that are going on in your head that don't go on in a lot of people's other heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might be connecting to different things. You may be getting flashbacks. of the, those visions that people say they get. You might be, the voices that you may be hearing may be something from one of those wormholes,
Right.
that should be shut, but in your
it's
brain, it's open for you.
Well, and if we subscribe back to kind of the Assassin's Creed principle, which is you are your ancestors, you have their memories, whether or not you can unlock them is the
Right,
question.
right.
Is then that starts to make a lot more sense. Is people that have to deal with voices, it's almost to your point, like the internal walls have come down.
Well, here's the thing. Now, this is what I said my hot topic is that I feel like the mental illness, that's not a mental illness. Like they used to say back in the day, schizophrenics would be converted into shaman because they believed that schizophrenia was...
That you were accessing your ancestors.
Exactly. Accessing somewhere that we don't normally access. And they would train those people to be able to control and hone that schizophrenia to the point that a schizophrenic would want to jump into a schizophrenic, like a manic state, because that's where they're getting their energy. But it's controlled now, so I'm not wilding out on people. I'm just gathering what I can from the state to explain to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like those, like in certain situations, those are gifts. But the way that we modeled,
it's control versus uncontrolled, though.
Right?
It's controlled, yes.
X-Men.
But exactly, and I think it goes right back to what
X-Men.
you're talking about with the New Mutants. And I think that what's troubling is a lot of the societal constructs around us.
It stops you
are
from
designed to keep you from accessing that.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you really look at everything, isn't that the goal? Like look at the drugs they give you when you're depressed or feeling like, do they really cure you? Or are they just numbing the mind?
They're shutting the windows and the
right, but at the same time, I mean, you may be depressed, but those may be feelings you need to feel.
Right.
Especially at that specific point in time. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why I don't like to go to the doctor a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, first off, who are you first? Secondly, what were our people doing before you?
Right.
How were they?
I mean, the short answer is that lifespans were shorter, right?
Right. No, definitely.
Theoretically.
Definitely. But I mean, at the same time, there's a lot of things in the modern medicine that would shorten your lifespan anyway.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you hear it every time you read something. I know we've had the COVID vaccine talk.
Recalls on Johnson's.
Recalls on Johnson & Johnson. Not the one I had.
My body, my choice.
But to your point, like, there are times I was listening to something the other day, and I think it was some like birth control thing where it's like they basically insert a chip or something in the arm. Not talking like an IUD, but talking about like some sort of something that they basically put a plastic piece like that big in your arm, and they were running through the side effects. I'm like, you might as well just have a kid at that point. Like,
nah, man. Nah, man. I know a lot of motherfuckers that rather go than have a kid. Real talk.
But there are a lot of times where like the side effects are worse than whatever the fuck is ailing you in the first place.
I mean, I don't even think it's a lot of times. I think it's a roll of the dice.
It is, because everybody reacts differently to everything.
Right.
And do you not understand human physiology as much as we like to think we do?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was getting at. I know I keep going around while I was saying that the hot take. I feel like I said, the hot take is the people that don't feel everything around them. You know what I mean? Whether it be the vibrations, whether it be the light, whether it be whatever you're tuned into around you. If you are only focused on this physical point that we're in now, that I feel is more mentally ill than any schizophrenic, bipolar, whatever the case may be. Now, the issue that I'm starting to realize is that all those people that are focusing on this current physical are the people in power.
Well, they're the ones trying to bring it back to that, yeah.
What do you mean by bring it back? Bring it back
Meaning,
to what?
anytime conversation gets too far, it comes back to something more like physical, more tangible.
I mean, it's always tangible. You know what I mean? Like it's always possessive. It's always something I can control.
Right.
But I mean, that's what everything. That's what the music is saying around us. You're not in control. We're not in control.
No.
As much as we like to think we're in control, we're never in control.
No.
We're just managing it at the moment. But at any moment, we know that the shit could veer left or veer right. And we have no control of that wheel to be able to stop it. We just have to get ourselves back on that track that we were on before.
Turn into the spin, keep going.
Right. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. And I feel like right now the people in power have been in power so long in this specific form of power, that controlling form of power, that they feel like that's the only way to go. Well, until things spin off of the road, right?
Right.
And I feel like we're coming into a point where things are spinning. There's a lot of black ice on the road, and we may be straightening it out right now, but it only takes one more patch of ice for us to spin all the way out.
Yep. No, and I think that when we look at things like that, it is... I'll go back to the book, just because it talks about it.
What book?
The 2020s being the biggest change in human history.
Oh,
the futurist.
Right.
They talk about, or he talks about in that, like, one of the things that will need to change in the next decade is democracy, the concept of democracy.
Right.
The idea of a representative democracy made sense before the technology that we have available to us today.
Right.
You needed to be able to send electors or representatives across the country on horseback to go vote.
Right, and that's what I mean when I say...
There's no reason why we couldn't have a true democracy right now.
Well, yeah, there is a reason, because like I said,
aren't gonna give it up.
Those are the mentally ill. Yeah. Those are honestly the mentally ill. That's exactly why the minimum wage hasn't changed since the early 90s, but housing, price of groceries, cost of living has gone up.
Crazy. Yeah.
Because you're so focused on controlling something, and that's the wrong thing to control. First and foremost, and that's what's starting to bite. The poor are like, well, wait a minute. Right. And I heard an interesting...
We outnumber you, like...
Listen, I heard an interesting quote. They were I can't remember, it was on a podcast. I don't want to misquote, so I'm not going to say the name of it. But they were talking about, I want to say it was Flagrant 2. Okay. But they were talking about the vaccine, and then they got into organ donation. The conspiracy of how some people think that if they're an organ donor, the people won't fight to keep them alive if someone else wants their organ type shit.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So then they got into trying to rebut, like, well, wouldn't a doctor want to keep that person alive they're working on currently, as opposed to have that organ available for some imaginary person?
Right.
But then the even better point the dude said was, well, when you think about organ donation, that's only for the rich anyway. Poor people don't get organs. So,
they can't afford it.
Right. So if a doctor knows that I can get paid by this rich person for the organ, I can get paid for the procedure, and I can get paid to keep and ship that organ, it does make more sense for them to be like, let John Doe go.
I hear what you're
saying. We'll
get
this organ done.
Ultimately, doctors aren't making money on that particular instance.
I don't know.
The hospitals might be.
Well,
the doctor themselves probably are, more than likely.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if do you think they get an incentive at all?
No, because what I would say is, one, they strictly couldn't, because if that ever came under fire.
You know how much bullshit goes on there?
I understand. But what I'm saying is, it is rare for an organ to end up at basically the hospital where somebody died. Not saying it can't be owned by the same insurance company or be
wait, what were you saying? Explain that a
little
further.
If someone were to pass and it basically, okay, they've got viable organs, I don't think it's common for it to basically stay at where basically the organ was harvested. A lot of the times it gets shipped across the country to some other hospital.
Well, see that they went into that too because they were saying that, and this is one of the dudes on the podcast said that they know somebody personally who has heart failure, who has enough money to where they can throw money at the situation as much as they like, and they were explaining that there are certain people that are available that have planes, jets, whatever the case may be, that can be at that location within 8 hours.
Okay. I hear what
You feel what I'm
so
saying? So if you get the call,
right,
we got a liver, a heart, or whatever, I can
might
be there.
Available soon.
Right. I can be there in 8 hours if that's the case.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I mean,
But what it comes down to, and this is what I'm saying, like that, and that's even just regular health care.
Yeah.
Steal from the poor, give to the rich. Steal those organs, give them to the rich. But what I'm coming down to is they said that Chris Rock had a quote that said, if the common man knew how the rich live, they'd kill us all. And I thought that's deep as fuck. Because if you as a black man know that,
right,
you have a little bit of money. You're just Chris Rock.
You don't have Bezos.
Right.
Gates
You're
money.
just, and imagine me saying that, you're just Chris Rock. But you're just Chris Rock. Like we had a conversation, I'm not going to say with who, but we were having a conversation about the sports athletes and shit. And they're talking about how how people feel bad if athletes don't give back and do this. And she said, but what about the motherfucker that pays 30 people $50 million on a team?
Right.
What kind of money you think they got?
Right.
And how much giving back are they doing?
Right.
And nobody knows who they are yet can hold their feet to the fire to say, you're not helping the community. But you put that on the young black athletes that are just getting a couple dollars.
Comparatively.
Right. We're in to regular people like us that think they're rich. LeBron with hundreds of $1 million. But how much is the guy making that pays LeBron the hundreds of millions of dollars?
No doubt.
And that's what I'm saying. Those are the mentally ill. Those are the people that feel like, no, this thing is working for us.
Right.
We'll keep it here. There's only really one option. You have to get rid of them, because we talked about the dying off. When you die off, somebody else takes their position.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, I do.
And that's mentally
we
ill.
Talked about this
That's
a lot
mentally
in terms
ill.
Of this country is due for and call me socialist, anything you want after I say this. This country is due for a redistribution of wealth. There is no moral reason for us to have billionaires in this world. Period.
I don't think so either.
And you and I have talked about what did we say,
500 million? Once you get 501,
that seems generous.
once you get 501, you better start giving it away, because I feel like it should pop up on people's cell phones like one of those hitman joints, like what was that, SWAT, where they was trying to find a dude and they said 100 million or $1 million for anybody that comes in.
Yeah.
It should pop on their phone like, oh, Bezos got 501 million and he's not helping anybody out.
That was basically
Let's go get
the
his ass.
principle on Westworld season 3.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna get there. I'm telling you, we'll get to that point.
Oh no.
It's
doubt.
only a matter of time before the pendulum swings and the meek inherit the earth.
And the what will be interesting is, do they see it coming enough to humble themselves and give up half to keep half?
Right.
And basically, like, do enough to basically stave it off a little longer. Or does the revolution come first?
We're dealing with the mentally ill
And
once again.
And the flip side is, you're not just talking about that revolution in the U.S.
Right.
You are talking about a global revolution of the underserved,
We're going to Fort Knox. Next, we're going to Europe to the World fucking Banks. And we're paying everyone. Wasn't that your boy? Wasn't that my boy? Black History Month. My white counterpart, John Brown. Wasn't that his hitting Fort Knox? Isn't that how he died?
Yeah.
Let's chapter 2, motherfucker. Let's get it. Chapter 2 in the name of Brown. But yeah, no, I guess I can't really round it off the way I planned to as far as my inadvertent, because we went a bit further off topic. Right. Beyond the beautiful cage and the Oh, but I will say this. I'll say what I did a good job of giving you my inadvert without giving up that line.
Giving it out. Yeah,
right.
I'll give it to you.
But I feel like now that I succeeded and I know I did, I should still give you that line. And then I want you to guess what her power is, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to say yes or no. So, there was a line in the movie, and I'm just going to say there was a line in the movie. This is at the end when they're wrapping the credits up.
Okay.
And the little Indian girl's walking away with her friends because they finally
escaped.
Right. And she's talking as like a narration, and she says, "My dad always said that there's two bears that live inside of everyone. There's a bear that feeds on your fear, and a bear that feeds on your light and your willingness to, move on." And she said, the quote, "And what bear wins?
Right.
The one you feed."
Yeah, okay.
That was the end of that was the going out. And I got with it, you know what I mean? Because in a world where we're trying to teach people an underlying fact to what you just watched,
yeah,
I feel like that's more necessary now than anyone. There's no need to be afraid.
Right.
We have things to be afraid of every day. Don't get me wrong. We get hit by a car. We get struck by lightning. We could spin out on a fucking bridge and land in the water. Anything could happen to us at any given time. But when you feed on fear,
you become more afraid.
You never live your life. You never take those leaps. You never take those steps that you should have taken.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like that is even stronger of a message now in this current era than it ever was before. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, there were reasons for people to fear. There's a reason for blacks to fear getting pulled over by police or deportation. Coming to a home full of immigrants, right? There's things to fear for people, specific people. Yeah. But now we're in a situation where everyone fears. Remember I said I like that. That's what I like that. Because there's a lot of people that fear, but the ones that don't usually fear need to fear as well.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole kick your feet off the table.
Right. And now you start seeing the people that are like, well, why am I scared? I've been here. I'm comfortable. Like, right. I'm not scared of this because I could die easier than you just walking out my house. But now you're scared because you've never had to be scared before.
You've never faced that fear.
Right. You never had a one-dimensional fear of just living. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So now motherfuckers are starting to get uncomfortable.
Right.
And you start seeing people flip the fuck out. There's a lot more flipping out now, and people are asking themselves why. Why are people acting crazier than they ever have? Well,
because they haven't understood how to deal with the fear.
Period. You know what I mean? It's not more times than not, it's not the people that have always dealt with the fear. It's the people that have never had to deal with it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? They don't know how to act when you're in a situation.
I mean, that's why, and I hate to take it here, but you see all these fucking white dudes with mass shootings. Is something doesn't go their way, they are afraid and they don't know how to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna act like that wasn't a piece of my point. If I'm being completely honest.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I'm just connecting the dots.
Right.
Like, that's what you're seeing. And it's also the reason why you see this belief in big conspiracy theories. They haven't learned to fear the normal, so they want to extrapolate it to something bigger.
Right.
And it's not.
And you know what's even scarier? And this is listen, if there is a mentally ill white person in power that's listening to this podcast right now, I'm about to give you some game. Everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, but they make what's the word I'm looking for? What's what's it called? It's not an agenda, but like how you try to make black people aggressive, dangerous. They're more. That falls in line. That's not the word I'm looking for, but
the narrative.
That'll work. That's closest to. But you put out the narrative that black folks are dangerous, are this, are that, and that's why you usually handle them more forcefully than you do others. But my thing is, right now, black people are still scared. We always have been scared. We're just used to dealing with our fear.
Right.
The day you give us a reason not to be scared anymore, that's the day you go into your bunkers. That's the day you're going to have issues. And when I say not scared anymore, I mean...
You mean you push them past
to the point that why the fuck do we even have to, like, what we're doing this, we're doing this anyway. Why not just really go at it?
Right.
I'm not saying that you give us a situation where we don't have to be scared anymore, because that's impossible. That's something that will never happen. Too much damage done. That'll never switch back to we're all cool. But if you keep pushing to the point that it's like, well, you're killing us for this. I just saw a video the other day, and some dude in Atlanta, Georgia, opened fired on the police officers with an AK-47.
I saw that video too. CNN actually picked that video up.
And listen, did I not say that back a year from now?
Yeah.
And a year later, they're still doing it, and you're going to see a lot fucking more of that.
No doubt.
Because that's exactly what I meant. That man right there was exactly what I meant when I said you give somebody a reason not to fear anymore.
Yeah.
He was no longer scared. He was done. He had enough.
Right.
And you're pushing a lot of people to the point of having enough. I've had enough of watching it.
Absolutely.
I've had enough of watching it. So I could only imagine if something hit close to home. Ooh, you know I'd be the first one out.
Right.
You better start putting my face on a shirt now.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm with you there, and
it's rough though. It's rough.
It's crazy to, like, and I think you and I may have. Well, one, I want to call back to the narrative comment.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. My 64-year-old mother-in-law made the same comment today.
That
Specifically about, like, unarmed blacks being killed by police.
right.
And how when she was growing up, like, the narrative, like, she has done the work basically to realize that the narrative she was fed her whole life is bullshit.
And I understand that, and I would never. And that's the thing is I can, because you already know.
That's the thing is that white folks, like, there are pockets, not all,
right.
but there are folks that are starting to realize, like, oh, we've been fed this narrative and we didn't even realize we were being.
And
fed
don't
this
get me
narrative.
wrong, we appreciate it, but
until
if you're just finding if you're just finding out at 65,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
No, I hear you. I
mean, that's a problem.
But that's still better than not admitting that there's an issue.
Is it though? Because let's be honest, and I'm not saying in this situation, I'm just saying in general, like we said, most of the time you groom somebody to take over.
Yeah.
Now let's be honest, you usually retire around what age?
65.
Right?
I almost made a joke about that in the title of our episode today because it's episode 65.
Oh, really?
Like, ready to retire.
Right. So what I'm saying is by that time, you've already built that person up behind you that feels the exact same way as you. Now that person has to come to their own realization that what you fed them was not correct.
Agreed. I think where it's interesting watching this scenario is that it was the younger influencing the older.
Right. But that usually is how it is.
It is, but that goes back to growth and fixed mindsets. A lot of that baby boomer generation, Gen X and older, like, there's a lot of talk that they are very fixed mindset and they don't want to change. I think it gives me hope when you see older folks that are willing to acknowledge, like, hey, I used to think this way and I don't think this way anymore. Because that means that the youth is doing the job, and that means the youth that's coming in behind them, counter to your point, is actually not adopting the same principles as the generation before.
Well, it all depends on the position as well.
True.
But if I'm being honest, that's cute.
Okay.
That's cute. That's cute that you came to that conclusion that late in life. You know what I mean? But you've had enough time to see the difference.
Yeah.
There's certain predispositions I have about people too.
Yeah.
And that may be to your point of the youth. I try to pull myself out of that realm of thinking.
Yeah.
Just like when someone has been raised.
We've had the comment around females on this show in particular.
That's a whole nother subject. Where's Kevin Samuels when you need him? No, I'm just playing. Kinda. But I was totally kidding.
I was only kidding.
Another Quaaludes, you love me in the morning. But that's why I'm saying I would never hold somebody that, because listen, if you were raised to a racist standard, I completely understand it's going to take you a little longer to get that out your system than it would be someone that wasn't. But at the same time, like you said, you have the world at your fingertips now. Yeah. You don't even have to get to know a black guy in person. You can look online. You know what I mean? Go to Black Twitter. Look and see what the average person's talking about. They're not talking about shooting shit up and doing all. They're talking about the same shit you're talking about.
Just with a different viewpoint.
You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm just saying that that's great. Of course, that's great. Just like when they say you find Christ or find religion or spirituality or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I mean, it's great if you find it before you die, but ideally, you would want to have that before then.
Ideally, you've lived your life then.
Right. You would want to have that in you before then. Yeah. But that's all. I mean, that, it's no biggie, though. Listen, I'm the last person that would ever look down or bad to anybody that's bettering themselves at whatever age you are.
Right. No doubt. Because the fact of the matter is you can't change the past at this point. All you can do is change how you act.
Right. So I respect and applaud anybody that feels that way. But I mean, I'm still, I still feel the same way about it, that at that age, how much damage was done before you came to that realization.
Right. And some of that depends on what position you were in.
Right. And that's really where it comes. That's why I said not this specific situation you were talking about. But when we're talking about somebody in a position of power grooming someone to take their place,
I agree.
At that point, it's like, well, it may be different, but if I go with the flow, I can have what he had.
Right. Bezos is a perfect example.
Right. If
he built his empire on the backs of his workers and basically mistreating the shit out of them, what's to stop the next person? The next person's going to do the exact same thing. And I think that's
model.
Where you see. I think that's where you see with CEOs in general in this country, like people that are running these multinational corporations, have built it on the backs of their labor force and continue to do
Listen,
so.
It's the reason. I don't.
To your point, this is the comment you always make. You change the warden, the prison doesn't change.
Right. So
I hear you.
And you know what? I'm gonna get it out here because I don't want to talk about it tomorrow too much. But it's the exact reason why Dwayne Wade is lobbying to buy partial ownership of the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
There's never been a black owner. I don't think that there ever will be. I think we'll see another black president before we see a black owner of a team.
Didn't Michael own a big portion of the Wizards?
Of the Charlotte Hornets, he owns a big portion of.
And doesn't Jay-Z own a portion of the Nets?
Of the Nets.
Okay.
But we're talking portions. You hear
Right,
what I'm
we're
saying?
not talking majority stake.
Owner. We can't say Jay-Z is the owner
The
or
majority owner. He's the
Jordan
minority
is the
stakeholder,
owner or
basically.
you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at is think about it. We're talking about Michael fucking Jordan here and you don't own a team. All the Jordans that you've sold,
Right.
I know he's made more money off of his shoes than he has off of his NBA career. And we know he had a
Absolutely.
very lucrative NBA.
The shoes lasted longer than the career did.
Listen, and we know he's had a very lucrative NBA career.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is if you still are not the token black boy of
Right.
of sports in general.
Right.
Republicans buy shoes too, is what he said. That's a token black boy. That's if anyone should be an owner, give it to a guy that thinks like that. If he's still not,
Well, I mean, here's the bottom line. You know who the first full owner of an NBA team is going to be?
who?
It's going to be LeBron, and he's going to own the fucking Cavs.
You think?
I do.
That's a good that is a good fucking prediction.
Assuming that he is able to basically mirror MJ's post-basketball path, but do it better. And honestly, because he is more of an activist, he is more of a
They let
social
him.
figure, he will either be murdered or he will ascend to the ability to own a team.
You think?
I do.
See, I don't
I
think
think
they let him in. I think they may give him some, but I think it's like you can have 49%.
Well, and I wonder if it starts that way and then he is able to, because in a lot of ways, he is Cleveland's prodigal son.
No, I definitely agree, but I just feel like in an era where we still have a Rooney Rule that isn't working,
I hear you.
how can we assume that we would give a black man that much revenue? Because we know what LeBron's gonna do with it, right? LeBron's building his own schools and already doing all
He's
right.
building
So
a fucking empire.
So when I say token black boy in Jordan, that's somebody that goes with the flow. I won't ruffle any feathers. I'm not trying to mess up what you guys got going on.
Agreed.
I'm just here to make money.
Jordan was never willing to use his position as leverage. LeBron
Right.
has.
Right, and that's why I feel like
That's why you feel like he'll
that's
never get
why
that
you're
shot.
not gonna. You may get 49%. You'll never get 51. Because then you have the shots. Then once he gets 51, then he can lobby to push the others out like the dude did.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
with the Washington football team.
Come on now. And then you have a situation where one black man owns an entire team. The revenue that comes behind that could be distributed at that point, shakes the bounds of this current capital
It does.
system. And I don't think that they're ready to have that because, once again, rounding it all the way back, we have a lot of people that are mentally ill in a sense that you're only worried about the physical
Right.
and you don't see the natural flow around you. Bruce Lee used to say, be like water, my friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a flow of things that happens that you don't see. And if you're not being like water and moving with that flow, you're fucking up the current.
Yeah.
And right now, we have a lot of people fucking up the current, which is why the water's not running clear into the sea.
Right. It's choppy.
And now, when it's choppy, you get rapids.
Yeah.
No pun intended, white water. No, I'm just playing. But you, but you feel what I'm saying, though.
Fools agree.
Listen, and that's what it comes down to.
But I'm going to stick by my prediction that LeBron is the first.
I think that is a very good prediction, and I haven't heard anything like that. Never even thought anything like that.
And I don't think that you will see it become a reality until 15 years after he retires.
Yeah, it's not going to be anytime soon. That's a fact.
But I also think that he is aside from being just a good human, like he is a good dude.
I think so too.
I think that he's.
That's really why I like him. It's not
for a dude,
all
for
from
a dude that's never was not college educated. Although did he go back? I feel like he went back. And
He
got
might
like
have.
a
He might have
honorary
got.
or
Yeah, he
something.
might have got a. I
But
think
somebody
you may
who
be
didn't
right.
go to college right out of high school.
I think you are right because his wife. I think his wife pushed
think-
him to do it.
I think that's right. I don't know if that's true. We'll look it up. But
I think it is.
At the end of the day, I also think he's a smart businessman.
Oh, I definitely think so.
He knows how to push, when to push, where to push. And people may not like him for that because they want him to stand up and be the voice, the face of the movement.
He can't give 100% to every pie.
Right. And he is... I mean, at the end of the day, he's still in his career. I'm very curious to see what LeBron does post-NBA. I'm curious to see what he does from a business standpoint. I'm curious to see what he does from an activist
Because he is a lion. He's an attacker.
Yeah.
He's gonna attack something else.
Oh, no doubt.
Whether it be acting, whether it be.
I hope it's not acting. Like, I like the dude.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm sorry. That new Space Jam trailer looks awful.
Awful. I was so let down.
And they do it like this digital thing. Like, it looks like the movie's going to be like half a cartoon, half live action.
Who the fuck is Don Cheadle?
I don't know.
Like, how is he the nemesis? Who is he? We know he's a dickhead. We know Don's a dick in real life. We don't need a role for him to play that.
I mean, it's funny. Like, you made
Fucking
that comment
prick.
about him being a dickhead, and then, like, that's his whole character in that Showtime show.
Then listen, let me speak $1 million in my pocket into existence then, if that's how it works. Because goodness gracious, a nigga struggling. The fuck?
Oh, man.
What else I
That
got?
was bad.
Oh, what's her superpower?
Her superpower is...
It's like hard to guess, but it's right in front of your face.
Her superpower is that when she's scared, there is some power that activates that protects her. Whether it's like ruthless aggression or like she can't be hurt.
That's close.
Okay.
That's close.
And to me, that's like the Phoenix syndrome. Like when you get pushed past the point of breaking, like the whole point was like the only way the Phoenix came out in the first place was either Jean Grey was dead or close to dying. It's that kind of thing. Not saying that that's it exactly, obviously.
Well, I think that's accurate.
Okay.
I think that when you're on,
I don't know that necessarily describes the power, but it describes what activates it.
But I think that's accurate. I think that when you're on your last, when you're about to quit, when you feel like you can't give anything else, it's not the light you grab. It's that hate.
Yeah.
That pain that I'm gonna.
It's that raw emotion. It's
right.
Star Wars terms, it's to the dark side.
Right. So that makes perfect sense.
And that's what keeps you alive.
Right. Because being happy never made me want to fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
I love fighting more than
the whole reason
a lot of things.
I played football, other than like wanting to hang out with you guys, was I had a lot of pain and a lot of anger, specifically around my father passing away. And it wasn't always like directly about that, but that's what got me started in it. And it was not like, I don't think I was ever happy during a game, other than maybe, making that big tackle, making that big sack, whatever. But other than those moments, like, that's not what drove me through a game. The drive was, I found a reason to hate this man in front of me, or hate myself enough to show that I needed to prove that I was better than this dude that was in front of me.
That's well put.
It was such, and
I mean, that may be me too, but I mean, I feel like I had a little just bit more Neanderthal in me, that I was just thinking, as long as there's seconds on the clock, I can impose my will on someone.
And I think the end result is that for me. I think it was, and frankly, and being vulnerable here, it was insecurity. It's like, if I do not end this person, or if I do not dominate this person in front of me, I'm not worthy.
You know what? That's exactly correct, because it's not even a piece, because my insecurity came from people doubting my size.
Yep.
I felt like, well, let me be a bullet. Let me be the smallest, most powerful thing out here, and let me hurt anybody that I feel is thinking that way.
Right. I feel you.
Coaches included, whether it be mine or the one across from the field. I'm going to hurt who's out here.
Yep.
Who is it that you're calling on? Who looks back when you yell? Who looks to the sideline when you yell to the field? Ball didn't have to be in your hand.
Right.
I'm going to hurt you. And
I hear you.
feel no qualms with it because you put that helmet on just like I did.
Right. Right. You made a choice.
Just didn't know that there was
You made a choice to be out here.
You just didn't know
I'm
that there
sorry
was
for you that you made that choice.
a fucking Wolverine on the fucking field.
Honey Badger don't care.
You know, I mean, did you see that on World Star? It was a dude out in the country that he was filming, and this little ass honey badger or Wolverine, whatever you want to call it, comes prancing by with a whole goat head in his mouth and just looks at him and walks by. And I was thinking, there's nothing more. They say those can kill a bear.
Oh yeah, no, I
Something
haven't.
this big can kill a whole bear.
Right, I've never seen. I don't think I've seen the goat's head one, but I've seen plenty of like honey badger, but like the original videos, which is why Matthew is named after that. Ty Matthew. From LSU, he played. I don't.
Oh,
yeah.
I do. Yeah, I know
you
you're
know
talking
who I'm
about. I know exactly
Honey
what you're
Badger.
talking. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
I
talking
know he
about.
doesn't like that nickname anymore.
I didn't know his
but-
name was Ty Matthew. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was his real name.
But yeah, honey badger.
Yeah.
And that's actually the rumor is that's where that came from. Was there was this random YouTube video that was basically exactly what you're talking about on World Star, following a honey badger just like fucking shit up.
Man, listen.
Honey badger don't care.
And but the video is just so funny because he's just prancing like it's almost
Right.
like that. It's like the dark and the light. It's like
Right.
yeah, that dark came out, but right now I'm feeling all right.
I'm
So
all right.
I'm the. And he was just the dude. It was literally like within feet of him. Like if he wanted to drop that goat's head and come at, there was nothing
Nothing you
dude could have done.
done.
And he was just filming, and it was just prancing along like I got what I got the kill. I got the kill I wanted. I'm off to
I'm
the
good.
with the head.
Dragging around a trophy like you're not gonna eat the head.
I said I found my spirit animal. That's my fucking spirit animal.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know.
But I did think that though, honestly, not like that was my spirit animal. That was a joke. But I did think when we were talking, rounding it back to the inadvertent, when I was thinking about like the light,
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself like, whatever it is, your soul, your orb, your whatever, I don't see it being bigger than anybody else's, but I definitely see it being brighter.
Okay.
Because I've always
an
felt like I
intensity.
was
It's-
10 feet tall and
But it's an intent. It's to your point. Like you said, brightness. I think about it as intensity, and it ties back to the vibrations conversation.
right,
You can have intense vibrations going on around you,
right.
and are you vibrating at the same frequency? It's the same with
That's
light.
interesting.
Light
Never
and
thought
sound,
about that.
If you think about it as, and that this is always the debate. Like, is light a wave or is it like sound or is it particles? Like, it doesn't really matter because, to your point, the brightness of it is changing the intensity of it. The same way, like if you vibrate faster, the intensity of the sound is more.
That makes perfect sense because now that I think about it, all of the girls that I have attached myself to the
Yeah.
most were softer. Didn't really have the ability to wow out like that. You
Like,
know what I mean?
hit
And
the
I
same
feel like
frequency.
that's because, like you said, my vibrations are so aggressive that if I get around another aggressive girl, I feel like that's when I'll get anxious. That's when I'm like anxiety because it's like we're both so
You're
heavy.
both
I
vibrating at the
can't
same- It's harder.
deal.
It's harder to be in rhythm if you've got two things vibrating at a high frequency.
Right.
If one is going slower, you might, even though this one's vibrating faster, this one's vibrating slower,
I can catch
you
that
might
pace.
still have the same beat. You know what I mean?
It's just like, where do I relax? I can't relax with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't calm. I can't lay my head on your chest. I can't, it doesn't work. That's when, like when I find someone with a high frequency like me, it's usually a high sex drive. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but there's, what else?
Right.
And weirdly as it sounds, I'm that guy that's like, what else? What else can you give me? I don't care for that. I need something else. I need a home base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somewhere where it's like, you're good here, you're safe here. You don't have to be on edge. You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't have to be vibrating at that
Right,
point.
right.
I hear you on that.
So what I'm getting at is, y'all better hope that orbs can't hurt each other, because I'm still going to be vibrating real high and shining real bright. And all the motherfuckers that thought that I was just this guy is going to see a giant in the sky. Is that a star? Yes. No, that's him. That's his motherfucking ass.
Right.
Shining. Listen. You know? But other than, what else is on your mind?
So we're talking about, so we're doing a just family update.
Right, right.
My son's spoiled, so he's getting 2 birthday parties.
Oh, shit.
And it's not, it happened organically, so it's okay. It's not like we set out to have 2 birthday parties.
You only get 2 birthday parties if me and your mom split.
No doubt.
The fuck? We're still together, so you
But-
get 1.
See, what had happened was, right, like, because my wife's a teacher, we have his quote-unquote official birthday party next weekend at, it's called Ohio Movement Lab. It's basically like an indoor, like, Ninja Warrior course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one of his friends did their party there probably about a month ago. And price was right, so we were like, okay, let's check it out.
Right.
And we decided that, well, I say we, Char decided that we were going to invite his whole class because she doesn't want to hurt any feelings or whatever, whatnot. Fine, which is fine. Like at the end of the day, I really don't care.
I get it too, but
the plan is that as
he don't like everybody in that class.
A-Reg is a social butterfly, man, more so than his pops is.
Listen, I was
He's
too, and I
he's
didn't
definitely-
never like everybody. In
He's
the class.
definitely his mom's kid. You also have to understand he's at that age where like it's easier, right, to be friends with everybody.
Right.
Nobody's done anything to fuck things up enough yet.
Right.
So our plan was that like as friends from his class dropped out either because like they couldn't make it or whatever the excuse was or they weren't comfortable with COVID, blah blah blah,
Right.
that we would invite like his friends from outside his class.
Like the
Well, the
neighborhood
problem-
kids and all
Right.
that.
The problem is
Everybody-
nobody dropped out. Everybody
Right.
RSVP'd yes.
Right,
So-
and now he got some fuck ass little kids that he don't really care for, and his homies in the neighborhood can't come because mom wanted to be diplomatic.
I mean, you're not wrong, but so tomorrow we're doing the neighborhood party. So we're doing like the movie in the backyard again. Which is why I was trying to see if there was a fight or anything going on that we could stay up late and I could have grown up time afterwards.
Well, if you
But there's no,
if you
doesn't
find
seem to-
something, let me know.
So we'll see if that Jake Paul is, because that's tomorrow, right?
That is tomorrow.
We'll see if that's airing on Fire TV.
Let me
or
know. I ain't got
IPTV.
shit to do. Oh, I do gotta go to I'll drink Bud Light.
So what we're trying to figure out is what movie are we watching tomorrow for the kids?
What movie?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of kids?
So it's his neighborhood boys, little girl across the street and her friend. So there are,
Does he like her?
you know, all right, so did I talk about this last week?
I don't think so.
So my son comes home last week and
Oh shit, this is where it starts.
tells us, did you know girl A and girl B have a crush on me? I was like, no, what's a crush mean? He's like, I don't know. But apparently
That's
these
my
two,
guy.
apparently these 2 little girls told him that they have a crush on him.
And now it's the
This is
competition.
kindergarten.
It's a competition.
Well, they're both coming to the birthday party, so we'll see what happens. We'll see who's the real ninja warrior.
We'll see where his fingers. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
You better not let Shar hear this one.
I'm just playing.
Because I've been told that I made one too many inappropriate comments after that went down.
I'm just saying. I know. Listen, I'm good for that.
Me too.
I'm just joking. These are only jokes.
But
That's how I found out
those
which
two-
one I
those
like.
two little girls in his class are not the one across the street. The one across the street seems like a very sweet girl. They just moved here. She goes to CSG, and they had a little dance off in the median the other day.
Did they?
And that girl's gonna be trouble. I'm just gonna put
Ah,
that there like
shoot.
that. So her little friend, his two boys that he runs around with, and then two of his friends that aren't in his class, I think, are coming tomorrow. We're trying to figure out. Again, these are all 5 to 6 year olds. What movie are we gonna watch?
That's what I was trying. That's why I was asking. Does he like her?
So we watched. Last time we did this, we watched Raya and the Last Dragon.
Okay.
New Disney Plus shit. But there's nothing new out kids wise.
Right. So you gotta take it back,
Right.
and you can take it back.
But I think he and I were talking tonight as we finished up bedtime reading or whatnot. I think we landed on How to Train Your Dragon, one of those.
Has
One
he
of the
seen them
three.
both?
There's 3 of them.
Oh.
And I think he wants to, I think he said the 3rd one. So
What's
I think
that
that's
one?
a good one, but
What's
the
that?
How to Train Your Dragon, usually animated, like I only like the Disney or Disney Pixar stuff.
That's how I am.
How to Train Your Dragon's solid. Like it's a good story, and it's like it's very heartfelt. And honestly, the 3rd one made me tear up a little bit.
What was
did.
it in there?
Well, because the end of the movie, spoiler alert for How to Train Your Dragon 3. At the end of the movie, he basically lets his dragon go, and like the dragons go to live in quote unquote the hidden world.
Right.
And it's not quite a post-credit scene, but the end of the movie is like 20 years go by, and like he and the dragon are basically like reunited with both their families, and it's very cute. It's tear-jerking, and so it's a good movie.
Right.
It is. It tells a good story, and honestly, DreamWorks wanted to be Pixar or wanted to be Disney so bad, like they killed the dad in the 2nd one, and by the 3rd one, he's over it and everything's moving along. But so I think we're gonna land on How to Train Your Dragon 3. But we also brought up the Goonies. Reg is a Goonies fan.
Gotta do the Goonies.
But I thought
if he likes the girl, gotta do the Goonies.
The problem is that I don't know that all of the kids would be into the Goonies. Like How to Train Your Dragon is the safe bet.
Right.
Because kids love those fucking movies. Goonies would be a little bit of a stretch, and there's 1 or 2 kids where I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. Hey, you guys!
Does he like the girl?
He will neither confirm nor deny.
You asked her?
The girl, yes.
You may have to go with Goonies, baby.
Well, we'll run
Goonies
that
had
by
the scene
Mom
where the
in
one
morning.
girl kissed the little boy with the braces.
Yeah. I don't need 5-year-olds kissing.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if he likes her, that might get your little juices going. May give you some confidence to say, "Hey, would you like to have an apple juice sometime? Would you like to have a play date at the house?"
It's funny enough. One of the crushes from
Fingers
school,
don't usually come into it until about
middle school,
right.
which I think is part of the reason why Shar told me that like. It's funny. We've been having a lot of parenting conversations lately.
But before you finish that, I'll just get this out. Middle school, if he comes to you and says, these 2 girls have a crush on me, Better check those fingers.
Hey, Dad, smell my fingers.
Right. I figured I'd toss that one up for you. I can't be the only ignorance in here.
Oh, damn.
Listen, I'm telling.
Son of a bitch.
My mom got some stories.
One of the two crushes had a play date the other day, so
That doesn't mean anything.
she was over the other day.
Oh,
She is also
a play date here.
yeah.
I thought you meant like a play date with somebody else.
She is also the one whose team I'm on. I'm like, I am team
Soccer?
this girl.
Okay.
Both of the crushes.
It's
are,
too young to be a team yet.
No. If you met this little girl, you'd agree.
Okay. Okay.
I will put it to you like this. Shar, they were down here. I actually let them come down.
They change though once their chemistry,
They do.
you know.
But they asked to Andrew wanted to show off kind of she actually asked to see the basement or whatever. And Andrew asked me to take them down here, and I let them hop on the headsets and listen to themselves and all that. And then Shar yells from upstairs hey, let's do something else. I think it was crafting. It was painting rocks or some shit.
Right.
And Andrew's I don't want to fucking paint rocks. And this little girl grabs him by the hand, looks him in the eyes, and he's just resigned, and she drags him upstairs.
And that's the girl that's your team?
That is the one that I am on. I am team this one.
I don't
she
know.
knows how to keep him in check.
I don't know. I think I'm with Andrew on this one. We got a whole fucking studio in front of us, and you're trying to go paint a rock?
Well, in fairness, I was also kicking them out. So the studio was no longer an option.
Okay,
at that point,
I was about to say, because being politically correct, maybe she's not feeling the vibrations.
Oh, no, she was the one that wanted to get on the headset first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wanted to put the headset on and talk in the mic and all that stuff before even he did.
Oh, well, you want his heart broken then.
My hope is not heartbreak.
That's what it is.
My hope is this is the.
She was like, "Oh, I'm interested in
long
this. Let me see.
term."
Can I put the headphones on, Mr. Reggie? Oh, rocks! Let's go paint a rock. Oh, wait, what? Squirrel?
Squirrel.
You trying to get that man's heart
part of
broken.
the whole thing was they play hopped all day, and I don't know who was really the lead.
What's play hop?
Meaning they were jumping from one thing to the next.
Oh,
every
right.
5 minutes. Or
Listen, clearly.
So that was entertaining, if nothing else.
She was jumping, he was following.
So obviously that's the one that he has a crush on.
So Goonies
Man.
it is. No, I'm just
Goonies it is. Oh man. No, that was what was on the mind. Outside of that, I'm trying to think through. You and I were talking before the show. Mortal Kombat should be dropping here in the next week or so, right?
Mm-hmm. Next Friday.
And Cliff made the mistake of watching another trailer. So I'm excited for that one.
I'm more excited now, but I feel like I am.
You just feel like they gave too much away in the next trailer.
I didn't.
See, I'm glad I
expect...
didn't watch it. I'm glad I didn't watch it then.
They had to have shown all the different matchups in that trailer.
Yeah.
Because there was so much that I'd never seen before. I was just like, fuck the movie. Fuck the movie. I got it.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've watched recently. We've been watching Younger, which the only actress I think I know by name is Hilary Duff in that show.
I don't know what that is.
Hilary Duff, Lizzie
Oh.
McGuire.
No, I'm saying I don't know what young. I said what? I didn't say who.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So Younger
Did I say
is
who?
Younger was it's basically this 40-year-old woman.
That's Hillary? No, I'm just
No,
playing.
it's not.
I'm just playing.
Hillary is playing a 26-year-old, which is bullshit because Hillary's my age.
Right.
But the main character is this 40-year-old woman, divorcee, who couldn't get a job, basically because she'd been out of the workforce for 12 years, who decides that in order to get a job, she's going to pose as 26 and fresh out of college.
That's Hillary Duff.
Well, basically. But that one has been, it's trashy TV. It's fun. There's nothing like.
Have you
magical
seen the
about it.
Nevers?
The Nevers? No. We have been watching Into the Storm, the QAnon doc, though.
Oh no. The
Which, by
Nevers,
the way, did you hear that the basically the guy who runs 8chan has acknowledged that from the point where Q stopped posting in 2017, he basically took it over from there. That was news that broke the other day.
I don't know what K-Chan, QAnon.
8chan, you don't know QAnon?
I don't know.
Oh, that was the driving force behind the January 6th insurrection.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard, but I don't know what it is. I'm okay. I can't say I don't know what it is. To my understanding, it's like a pro-Trump conspiracy theory group.
Yep.
But
and
I don't.
Q is some liaison for Trump.
Oh.
Basically, it was somebody in Trump's inner circle. Who
Quincy
posted all
Jones.
this shit. Yeah.
They was allegedly talking about him fucking dudes.
Who?
Quincy Jones.
Oh.
The musician dude. Mm-hmm. Talking about like he would like fuck the new recruits that he would get on there. So maybe it is Quincy.
I don't know if that falls in line with Q's doctrine, but
You never know. Pizzagate.
QAnon is also what propagated Pizzagate and
Listen, hide in plain sight. Quincy. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Is he still
Allegedly.
alive?
The lawyer lady up there in the booth is telling me to say allegedly.
I don't know if Quincy Jones is still alive or not.
He may be. I was about to say, if he wasn't, take that allegedly back.
That's fucked up. So we've been watching Into the Storm, which is the QAnon doc. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Man,
There
the
hasn't been-
Nevers, you have to watch the Nevers.
So tell me about the Nevers. I don't know anything about it.
There's only one
Give me
episode
enough to
on.
hook me.
I was so fucking pissed.
What do you mean there's only one episode? You gonna tell me to watch a show that only has one episode?
I wouldn't have watched if I'd have known it only had one episode. It was one of those things where I turned it on and got so very
So is it a
fucking
movie
into
or
it.
like a limited series and
It's a
there's more
TV
episodes
show.
coming?
Yeah, it's more episodes coming.
Oh, okay.
But the
All right.
pilot's only on HBO Max right now. Basically, it's like X-Men shit.
Okay.
Like, it's even beastier though. Like the way they set it up was so hot, it almost made me feel like you should always be outside. Because it was a situation they're in like England or something.
Okay.
And well, this is mid episode. They explain to you how the people got their powers.
Okay.
So it was like some spaceship or something. Like everybody's outside, like regular day. This big ass ship, like colorful ship, comes out of the clouds in the air. It almost looks like a whale, but it's like a ship as well. And as it comes out of the clouds, it like drops these little like glitter orbs.
Okay.
Like it starts raining the colors of the ship down.
Okay.
And certain people get touched with them and certain people don't. And everyone that got touched with them ended up having a specific
Some
ability.
Sort of power.
Right. One of the girls, the guy who's fighting against they call him like the touched because they were
Okay, 'cause
touched
they
by
touched
the
orb.
one girl grew to like 10 feet tall, like a little girl, like 16 years old. So she's like a giant, but she's like young and cute. Like she like curtsies and shit, but she's like huge. There's there's two main girls. One of the main girl in the show gets flashes of the future.
Okay.
She's also an orphanage runner, and she gets all of the touch that are kids and brings them to the orphanage.
Gotcha.
Because people are trying to like
she's doing
kidnap
the
or
mutant
kill
thing.
them, right? Because they're touched. Like they think that they can take their powers type shit, so they'll kidnap them and try to like figure out, you know,
Right,
shit.
What gave them their power?
Right.
Yeah.
So she's bringing them all in, putting them in the facility. One of the girls, as we talked about, kind of rounds it all back, sees energy. She sees kinetic energy. So she says, like, she can see a light bulb in the light. Like, you could unscrew the bulb and she'll still see the energy going somewhere. So she knows, like, how to put shit together because the energy tells her where it wants to go. So, like, in an era where there's horses and buggies, she has one of those, like, Rough Riders 2-seater motorcycles. Like, where it's one wheel in the back, 2 wheels in the front.
Gotcha.
And, like, she has, like, one of those that she built herself off of watching the energy, you know what I mean? Like, so everybody is equipped to do something.
So is it like a period piece? Like you said, it's like horse and buggy time.
Yeah, it's
like,
back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like it's back in the day. It seems like it's probably like...
Either that or it's post-apocalyptic. Where
There's a black dude in it, and he doesn't get bothered, and his family has nice clothes on, so I would imagine it's like...
It must be after the apocalypse then.
Right. Let's be honest. When life starts all back over type shit.
And we don't have the preconceptions anymore.
Right.
People.
And he was like the only black family in the whole shit, and he's all dapper walking down the street, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is real. But then his power was he can fix people, like he's a doctor, but he can do it with his hands. Like, his hands will glow, and he can like give stitches by like how he does his fingers over the wound type shit. And she was saying, like, your power is too strong for you to be wasting it on us. And he was like, shit, like, basically what he's saying, a black dude that could do this, he was like, I'd be hung by a voodoo doctor if I showed this to anybody else. And I was thinking, okay, so maybe it is late then
it's
coming back around.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know I don't know. But I was thinking, like, he's talking about a voodoo doctor and him not being able to show his power made me feel like it wasn't late. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? Because everybody else showed their powers.
Gotcha.
But him as a black man felt uncomfortable to show his power because he felt like he'd be hung by a voodoo doctor. Like, why is it you feel that way and all these white folks around you are showing their powers and they don't feel that way? So that made me feel like, it's probably back in the day-ish. Okay. You know what I mean? But that's basically the thing. And there are people that are fighting to take out the touch. The touch are fighting against that. But then there's also, like, the government that are trying to, like, shut shit down to make shit harder for the touch to. So it's like it's a whole lot going on. It's action, it's politics, and all that. But
it does feel kind of like it feels X-Men like in the sense that, to your point, like, once you involve politics, the government trying to hide the powers, etc. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like, you gotta watch it though, because it's nothing like the X-Men. Like, it's not set up that way. It's more set up like a Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Like, that's the vibe you get.
This is HBO Max.
That's the vibe you get of Sherlock Holmes, but it's more so like a.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like a Doctor Who, X-Men, Sherlock Holmes type vibe.
Okay. Not gonna lie. Probably will wait until the season's done.
That's what I wish I would have done. But now that they got me on that first episode, I'm checking HBO Max. Like, when's the next one drop?
I hear you.
I'm stuck.
And honestly, I'm gonna be that way when I don't think it's next week. I think it's the following week where Handmaid's Tale comes back.
Really?
Yes.
I started it. I just can't get into it. I just don't like it.
I will tell you that women that I've talked to are either like all for it.
Oh, they love it.
Or they are like, that hits a little too close to home to where we are right
now. That's why everybody I know has loved it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like, this is prepping me for the future state at this point.
But everybody doesn't feel that way. That's the mentally ill, as we spoke about. And for anybody that may be joining late, I don't mean regular mentally ill. Rewind back.
Right.
But that's the mentally ill that we spoke about. And they need to be medicated as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only medication is putting the rabid dog down. That's all I'm fucking saying. Viva la revolution! What'd he say? Libertad! Libertad! You remember that?
No.
In Scarface, when
Oh,
when
yeah,
all the
yeah,
people
yeah,
were
yeah.
following and they was chanting it, and Scarface came out the door and stabbed him in the gut. Libertad. Liberty, motherfucker.
Man.
But, listen, that's Derek Chauvin. What do you think happens when you put somebody like that in a refugee camp?
They gonna make it.
I bet he goes faster than Harvey. Not Harvey, Epstein.
Yeah.
He goes faster than Epstein for
Faster than
sure.
Jeffrey.
For sure. If they put him in there.
I mean, at this point, the question is, like,
Even if they put him at a pre-max.
so where is the trial at this point? Like, we haven't gotten to a verdict yet, right?
Right, and that's what makes me feel like it's not looking good.
No, I'm.
Or it is
completely with
looking
you. That's
good,
why I'm
depending
bringing
on
it
how
up.
you look at it. It could either not be looking good, or it is looking good, depending on how you look at it. Because at this point, I feel like, I mean, I know it's very bleak to say, but I feel like it'd almost be better for everybody if they let him off. And everybody flips the fuck out.
Yeah.
And lets them know, you don't want to deal with this again.
I
You know what?
I
With
hear
that
what you're
being
saying
said,
on that.
I mean this at the bottom of my
want
heart.
to point out that I said that this is where I was worried I was going to take it tonight, and you were the one that's taking it here. So go ahead.
Right. And listen, well, you shouldn't have planted the seed.
I did.
But now that I think about it, and I've thought about this for a while now, let me try to preface it in a way that doesn't sound so aggressive. I can understand why good cops hate bad cops. Because in my mind currently, as strong as the United States has always been, we have the pussiest cops in the history of the world. The pussiest cops, once again, in the history of the world. Because I think to myself, Europe's racist. Europe also doesn't have guns. Now, Europe has guns, but the police don't.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that at that point, like they say, police work is 99% communication. It has to be. It has to be for you to do your job at that point.
Because you can't just kill someone.
But they can kill you.
Right.
You feel me? Because they have a gun, an illegal gun.
Well, this goes.
You have none.
And I will take it to the Adam Toledo situation, which of course is reminiscent of Tamir Rice, Tyree King here in Columbus.
Who's
Like,
Adam Toledo?
Adam Toledo is the, I think,
Oh,
Mexican
yeah.
13-year-old.
But that wasn't here.
No, but
Oh, you're
I
saying
think
Tamir Rice, or,
no, Tamir Rice was
from
Cleveland.
he- okay,
Tyree
I see what
King
you're
was
saying.
here in Columbus.
Who was Tyreek King?
Tyree.
I don't know who that
Tyre King was shot over on
Who was the dude that just got shot in the Columbus hospital?
didn't see that
You
one.
didn't? Shit, they lit his motherfucking ass up.
But no, so the Adam Toledo is the, I think, Hispanic
Yeah.
13-year-old.
Well, I don't
kid.
know. I mean, I know what you're talking about. He's high yellow.
Yeah. And unarmed kid, basically killed by cops. You see him turn around with his hands up.
Right.
Reminded me of the whole Tamir Rice, Tyree King, both of those situations here in Ohio. I agree.
It's pussy. It's a
Like,
pussy as shit.
You should not be in. One, some of it does come back to training and mentality.
I think pussy. It's pussy.
I don't disagree. I also don't think that police officers should be trained shoot to kill.
It doesn't matter if you
understand
do.
military being trained shoot to kill.
Right. It doesn't matter if you do, right? My whole thing is this. And the reason why I came to the conclusion of pussy is because someone who's capable, who's truly capable, doesn't flex first.
No.
I don't remember ever being the one to swing first in a fight because I knew I'm comfortable here.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up. So 2 points here. One is
being in that profession, you should be ready to lay down your line, but it ties back to the fear comment.
Right.
It ties back to you've been trained to be afraid of everything.
Right.
And so your reaction is shoot
Pussy.
to kill.
Pussy
and
shit.
Being a pussy.
Pussy.
The other side is, and I've had this conversation with Char lately, is like we've talked a lot, and I said we've been having some conversations around parenting lately. And she is very much of the mindset of like, you use your words, figure out how to work things out, blah, blah, blah. My point is, I was always raised, you are not the one to start a fight.
Right.
You sure as hell fucking finish it.
Period.
And as quickly as you possibly
Period.
can.
Period.
And I believe that with my entire being. Like, I am not the one that is going to go start shit. And I hear I see you like looking at it.
I was just saying.
But you are also the one to start shit. So
I wouldn't start shit. I would address shit.
Right.
I wasn't the guy that brought something up out of nothing. I was the guy that recognized that you feel like you're bringing some. Okay, so let's address that.
Yeah.
Let's address that now.
But I also, and to the point on parenting, like, what she and I have come to terms with is, I'm like, you can do it your way up until about 4th grade. At that point, I'm going to teach him, one, to stand up for himself. And not that he doesn't stand up for himself. He does.
Right.
She is teaching him how to stand up for himself verbally.
Right.
And
you need that too.
And I will teach him that you are never the one to start a fight.
Right.
But you finish it, and you finish it as quickly as possible.
Quickly.
The least amount of damage as quickly as possible.
Oh, no, the most amount of damage is...
Least amount of damage meaning collateral.
To yourself.
To yourself, to others around you, even to the person.
No.
See, I am a firm believer of, if you can end it without, like, inflicting serious injury, then end it.
Let's be honest, though.
But you and I think are saying the same thing in terms of, you are not the first, you do not start shit, but you finish it.
Well, see, yeah, and here's my thing, though. I guess it's opposite. It's almost the opposite now that I think about it. Okay. We might need to have to take a bathroom break after this because I'm full. But it's almost the opposite because, as you know, me and my father are of a smaller stature. You and Andrew are of larger stature.
So it's a different mindset. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Now, where me and my father may be slightly more technical than you, as in being able to do something that, you know, you may be able to do
straight up overpower.
Exactly, which could, because as everyone knows, once you get into that mode, you do have a blackout point.
Oh, yeah.
You have to bring yourself back out of it to realize what's happening. And a lot of times it's already done and you're still doing something by the time you wake up.
Yep.
And it's like, oh shit, didn't mean to do all that. Sorry about that, but shouldn't have started shit.
Right.
So my realm of thinking is, most of the time I'm coming into a physical encounter, it's always going to be someone bigger than me.
I hear you.
So I'm going to inflict the most damage as soon as possible in hopes that you recognize that was more than I expected.
Yep.
Didn't want to do that anymore.
Whereas I'm looking at it from, like, if I am looking to inflict the most damage, I could kill this person.
Right, and I know that as well.
And I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just saying, like, from a... If I were to literally pick somebody up and slam them, I could easily break a neck or a back or whatever.
And that's the difference between me and you, because I'm not...
You're not looking to do that.
No. I know
if I'm looking to inflict the most damage, that is absolutely what I am doing.
I can hit you that will shut you down. That'll shut your whole shit down.
Right.
I just got to land the shot. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to land it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I've never really not landed it. Outside of the ring. In the ring, I've not landed it. But outside of I've never really not landed that.
Right.
What I expected to land type shit. But it goes back to what you said. And it's not that I took it the wrong way. But it's not that I start shit. It's that with me knowing my stature, you have to understand that
if you let somebody else take the first swing, maybe.
Well, that's
It
what I
may
was
not
saying.
be as good,
I never have taken the first swing, even when I know I should have.
Yeah.
Like you're not in a good position right now. You may be outmanned at the moment. You should probably be the aggressor.
Right.
Still, I'll hold off, and
Yeah,
that usually
I hear
ends
what
up
you're saying.
with me getting jumped or something like that. But my whole thing is, with me being of small stature, you have to understand that you're not backing me up.
Yeah.
You're not gonna cur me into a ball to feel like, so when something happens, I'm gonna be the guy to say, wait, hold up, let's address this here.
Right.
So
Let's
you
address it
know,
before it's a problem.
so you know, oh shit, this isn't the guy that's just gonna act like he didn't hear it or see it.
You're right.
He's in my shit. Then you start thinking, well, why is this little guy in my shit? He must know something I don't know.
Right.
Now, if you choose to take it beyond that, yes, I'm going to do the most damage
I hear you.
in the fastest amount of time. So you're like, done. I'm done.
And what I will say on the child rearing aspect is Char and I at least did agree on, like, use your presence.
Right.
Intimidation is
You're big
okay.
enough. Right. Right. Until you run into somebody like me, it's like.
No doubt. But honestly, like, in not saying he won't, but I mean, majority of the time.
Yeah, you're not.
Especially because, one, as personable as he is, like, he's always going to have everybody else in his corner.
Right.
Not always, but right now he's got a lot of other people in his corner. Like, if somebody's being a dickhead.
Right.
And he kind of puffs his chest a little bit and just say it with your chest.
Right.
Most people are going to.
Right.
Most kids his age.
There's not a lot
and
of
even
honey-
a year or two older are going to back down.
There's not a lot of honey badgers out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like,
well, now that MMA is prevalent, there's a lot more honey badgers than there were before.
and I think that's fair. I think the point that I've made is that I didn't really have that switch until after my pops.
You
died.
always had it. You just didn't know you had it.
Fair. I didn't know how to activate it, or I didn't recognize it, but like, he's got that switch now.
Right, I can
and
see
he
that.
knows how to tap into
I can
it,
see
like
that.
when he gets pissed off.
I can see that. So maybe you need a Char. You know
So
what
maybe
I mean?
that's why. I agree, and she and I have come to terms that is like, all right, I hear you, but understand when it gets to a certain point.
Once it gets to a
I don't
point where
ever
kids
want-
can start hurting each other,
Right.
he needs to know how and,
I never
get out of it
And
as
right
fast
now,
as
like
possible.
the play fighting he does with his friends, he already knows how to pull back. At some point, I'm gonna have to teach him how to let go.
Right. Well, you know I got him.
I know you do. And with that, we're gonna take a quick break because
Before
Cliff
I
and I
wet
both
this
got to
couch.
take a piss. So we'll be right back. Check us out here in a minute here on Do Fools Agree. Thank you all. what's up, fools? We are back here on episode 65 of Do Fools Agree. Thank you for obliging the quick bathroom break. Cliff's line was, I thought I was going to have to flush.
Listen, I almost filled that motherfucker up.
God damn.
Listen, I was about to have to head to the sink.
Oh, man. That'd have been awful. So what else we got to talk about tonight, man? I mean, we're about an hour 45 in.
Okay, so we got
we got another topic or two we could cover depending on what
let's see what I got
it looks
here.
like, but check your little book of rhymes and let me know.
My book of thoughts.
Oh man. Yeah, I really the problem is that free time wise hasn't been a lot this week and just been busy.
On what time wise you said?
Said free time wise.
All right, listen, you shit.
And so things have been a little nuts, and it's been mostly work, but that's all right. And I will say, A-Reg found a new game he was getting into. He discovered Minecraft, which I didn't know anything about. And as a geek, I felt a little sad about that because I know geeks love that game. But I did my best. We started harvesting shit to craft and build, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Are there any games coming out? Like I feel like there hasn't been a good game in a long time. So is there anything coming up? Like I've heard Mass Effect is doing the Legendary Edition, but that's an old game being remastered.
What's that one game?
I've been playing Minecraft. I've been replaying Skyrim again because I downloaded a bunch of mods.
Really?
Yeah.
I know my Xbox is like, am I owned anymore?
What you mean?
Like, did this motherfucker trade me in? 'Cause I haven't turned that bitch on since January.
Well, honestly, once I got that, I mean, it was funny because at our old house, everything was done through the Xbox, but then the new TV upstairs,
right?
That's a Fire TV, and I'm with you. Like, up until probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I hadn't turned it on. I hadn't turned the Xbox on in almost 2 months.
Listen, I don't even know if my bitch will light up anymore.
Well, and the fucked up thing was I changed over from Xbox Live to Game Pass or whatever, and I downloaded a couple
I still pay for all my shit. I'm glad you said something. I need to cancel that.
But I did upgrade from Live to Game Pass, and Game Pass I have high hopes for because Bethesda's going to do day and date on Game Pass, meaning when it's released it'll be available on Game Pass, which
right.
is good, but
no, it's only one game that I've been eyeing, and it's boxing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that esports boxing club.
Euro one?
But
okay.
it didn't Euro anymore. They brought on I can't think of his name. What the fuck?
But they bring on some real time.
Right, like they've got.
Well, and honestly, like I don't know
all
about
the big
you.
fighters, Terrence Crawford and all them. Like, they just haven't gotten like all of the like, no Floyd Mayweather fighters or anything like that.
But the flip side with a game like that is if the mechanics are good and it's got a creative character.
Right. Well, see, the thing is,
or somebody else will build it and you'll be able to download it.
See, the difference, the thing, how they're coming at this is they're making a league, an actual league, like a tournament, like esports type shit, and whoever wins gets the WBC esports belt, like the actual belt that the champ gets, but it's for the esports, right? So I don't think that they're gonna allow people to use creative players in that league. I'm not sure. I may not. They may, but usually when you create a player, it's a little different than the players you play with.
Agreed.
So I feel like they may limit it to just already made players.
Unless they give you like the set stat distribution.
Right. Otherwise,
or you only have so many total points.
Right. Because otherwise, it's like, well, damn, he's been playing this game longer than me. I'm never gonna beat him.
Right.
His
Which
stats
honestly
are too
is my
high.
problem with games like fucking Call of Duty and all that.
Right.
Shit,
Well, you can still slide on Call of Duty because even if you're rank 50 and you got all your little attachments and shit, you can still get the kill if you get
can,
enough, but it makes it a lot harder. It does,
which
make
always
it a lot
is
harder.
counterintuitive to me. Like, I think those kind of games, you should start with everything, and then as you level up, you should get less.
I think so too. Mm-hmm.
Which I know is counterintuitive to gaming in general and like game mechanics. Like, I get that, but that's the reason.
But you can still get them to unlock shit at the end of going backwards. You know what I mean? Like, it would almost be better for you to prestige, because once you prestige, you unlock this.
Yeah.
Whereas once you prestige now, you just start all over again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But honestly, that's what kind of drove me out of like the shooter gaming was.
I'm not.
I wasn't good enough
guy.
to.
I do like shooters, but not Call of Duty.
Well, fair. Like, but I could throw any game in there. Like Destiny's the same way. Like, Destiny was my shit for a while when I played it regularly, and then I stopped playing for a little while, and suddenly like I don't have shit.
Right. See, Battlefield, I like Battlefield. That was a little different.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much like...
See, Battlefield, I liked, not Battlefield proper, but, what was it, Bad Company?
The one with the grenade on the front of the cover?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I ever played that on my own.
Honestly, I think I got sucked in by, like, the campaign there.
Right.
And honestly, I'd rather play the solo campaign shit than the multiplayer anyway.
See, I'm opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually when I get like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield, I won't play the campaign at all, and I'll just jump straight into the...
See, because I like games for escapism.
Right.
I don't want to...
Well, see, that's certain games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty... So let's put it like this. I like games that I know what it takes to be there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's usually why when it comes to, like, campaign type shit, I'll lean more towards sports.
And I'm with you
like
there.
creating a boxer or a basketball player, or because I've played enough to know this is what it takes. But I guess when it comes down to an army situation, I've never been in it to know when the adrenaline kicks in. You know what I mean?
I hear
Like
what you're saying.
in a sport game, you know, I'm playing as a boxer. Oh, I know what happens after those 2 jabs land. You're a little dizzy and you're looking to get an opening. So I'm in it like, oh, now I gotta, you know what I mean? But when it's a shooting game, I haven't been in the army. I'm no Marine.
Right.
I don't know what happens when that bullet whizzes by. Like,
And see, meanwhile, I like the sci-fi fantasy shit on that front.
see, now maybe that's why I've never gotten into Star Trek and superheroes and shit like that, because it's like, and I know we've had this conversation before, it's like I've seen real people that have done shit that's like, never seen a regular man do that.
Right.
So why would I idolize Superman when there's a Mike Tyson right in front of me? Like,
Yeah. No, and I think that makes sense.
you know what I mean? I've never known nobody that could fly, so fuck Superman.
Right.
But this man seems to run over everybody that steps in his way. That seems more of a superpower to me than him, you know?
Right. More realistic.
Right. So that's why I can't get into all the... I have gotten into Lost in Space.
Oh, really?
The reboot. Have you seen that at all?
I mean, I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Man, listen.
Are they up to second or third season now?
They got 1 and 2 on there.
Okay.
I'm waiting on that 3rd season because I was hooked.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I was up to like 2 a.m. and had to be up at 6 watching
Gotcha.
that shit.
All right.
Just because a new episode came on, I was like, oh shit, how do I get out of this? I can't stop. Gotta stay up and see what happens.
Right.
Let me roll up again.
Actually, it's funny you bring Lost in Space up. So the one that is that I didn't talk about earlier that I've been watching is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I've talked about that a couple times. Most recent episode, I won't give any spoilers, but they start to directly address some of the things they've been setting up in terms of...
Shit, she already made predictions on it. She said
Exactly. Like Falcon not wanting to take up the mantle because he was
Right.
a black man in America, and like making Captain America black has a lot of repercussions
Right.
that nobody realizes, and they finally addressed that head on here in this episode. And then I think the season finale is next week.
They trying to warm people up into.
I mean, Disney's been compared to where they were in the 50s and how they were very, we'll say, anti-Semitic and straight up racist.
Who we talking about?
Disney.
Fucking Nazi sympathizers?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think they've come a long way.
But listen, man, you know what that man like that actually trips me out, right?
But the flip side is that you have to understand that the Disney family doesn't have anything to do with it
right.
anymore.
But at the same time, change the name.
And nobody attached to the Disney legacy has anything attached.
Change
to it.
the name because I feel
hear what
like
you're saying on
I
that.
feel like when you can fire Paul Pierce.
But the problem is that you've got the equity is in the Disney name. But I hear what you're
But it
saying.
doesn't matter. You could say this is Disney, but we're changing from Disney to this because of how people may look at Disney. Because my whole thing is, if you can fire Paul Pierce, an ESPN analyst, for having strippers in a house on live, for that being a bad look, but everyone else knowing your history is Nazi sympathizers.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
That's so fucking redundant it doesn't make sense. So wait.
But again, does the common person know that Disney is associated with Nazis?
Well, I mean the
I mean, I agree. If you care to do any research, yes.
right.
But
I don't give
how
a
many
fuck
people are
about
willing to
Disney,
do
and how do I
research?
know about that? I don't watch fucking Disney.
I hear you.
Maybe with my daughter, like the little camp, shoot, whatever it's called. I don't even know what the fuck it's called. You know all the little dumbass Disney shows, all the little dumbass kid shows. I watch them, but I mean at the same time, I just think to myself like, that's the motherfucking structure that y'all built.
Yeah.
That you can have a Nazi sympathizing company firing people because they feel it's a bad look. Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, really? Oh, a grown man doing everything legal in a picture, in a video, is a bad look on Disney?
On Disney. I hear you.
And we're talking about canceling and firing motherfuckers, and Disney is still around?
Well, that's because Disney has shifted their image to be the
The
front
mentally
of the,
ill.
the front of the social justice.
It's the what they
warrior
did.
movement.
What they did other than explain why Captain America can't be black.
Sorry about that.
No. Oh, you talking to them. I was about to say what they did other than explain why Captain America can't be black on the episode.
Fair.
What have you done? You just fired a black man for legal shit,
From an ESPN perspective.
Because
which
it
is
looks
all still
bad.
Disney. Yeah.
but you're the leader of the social justice movement now?
Right.
I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. This whole world that we live in is just like, motherfuckers, like, it's to the point where, it's almost to the point where the word woke has evolved. Where initially it, like, the woke movement was the inclusive movement. We want to include people.
To the exclusive and cancel culture.
No, I'm not even saying that. No, that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is, now we're to the point where woke is not about being inclusive as far as culture. Woke is as far as looking to see that you're just a cog in a machine that doesn't work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now I'm waking up to see that the people that are manipulating our situations aren't dealing with these situations. So how could you continue to put money in their pockets?
I hear what you're saying.
That's the waking up. Where before it was just, are you woke? Do you see that everybody should be included? Now is it, do you see that you're being manipulated by the masses?
Okay.
Or the masses are being manipulated by the few,
yeah.
basically. But
And even social justice
It all falls in the same
warriors
realm.
are in the same
Right.
boat
If
in
you get
terms
rid of those mentally ill on top, then the inclusion starts to open up a bit.
right,
Because
okay.
they're the ones that are stopping the inclusion and propagating it to be a situation to where these people are at these people. Chinese people and blacks are beefing. I didn't know.
right.
I just had a niece a week ago. I just had a new little Blasian niece a week ago. I didn't know that.
Which, by the way, I didn't know that was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all about the propaganda of the mentally ill on top.
Did that come up, by the way, while Chris was on the show? Because I didn't know that was happening.
I think it may have.
It may have. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think that drove him to his tangent.
I mean, that makes sense. So the reason why I asked that question is because I don't know that it came up during the show. Because
It
the
might not have
tangent-
came up in the
because-
same context we discussed it previously.
Right, which was my whole point around.
Right.
Like, that explains other aspects of that conversation.
Right.
In terms of now I can connect dots that weren't there before.
Right. Well, I think there
obviously I didn't have the full context. I may have given different advice at that point.
Right. And I think that there was a big, I don't even want to say understanding, but listening issue that went
Oh, no
on
doubt.
in that episode as
No
well.
doubt.
Because let's be honest, when he just starts talking and talking, eventually you stop listening if it doesn't,
Oh, no doubt.
if it's not a sweet tone to my ear, meaning making sense to me, I just stop
Or
listening.
once you talk over me so many times, I stop fucking listening.
That's the part as well. But yeah, that's what I think. And it was just a situation where motherfuckers wasn't listening in that situation.
I mean, it's all good. We got through the episode. And honestly, by the end of the episode, it was great.
No, it was.
It was just the first 30 minutes were not great.
I mean, you get what you get. Food truck shit.
No doubt. Well, I think we got to start thinking about food truck shit from for next couple of weeks. So
Let's do it.
Anybody that's interested, hit us up. We're always open for guests.
Oh, did
You
my
got anybody
Shelby
lined
email
up?
you?
What's up?
Shelby that was on with asking to get on with Malcolm.
Shelby did ask, but I think the ask was for Doofles or for
No,
Hit the
it
Showers.
was agree. We ain't doing that.
You know what? No.
No, we ain't doing that. Like Mark said, you don't know enough to be on Hit the Showers. It'd be different. Like that. This is an opinion.
But I think that was the ask. The ask was to be on Hit the Showers.
Well, the request in the
so should we ask her to
gift,
come on?
Doofles
Fools
agree.
agree. All right, I'm game.
Yeah. So that's gonna have to be that, cause.
Well, reach out, set it up. She ain't my people. And I mean, if we went Shelby and Malk on the same episode, I'm good for that too. We
could
four
do
mics.
that. We could do a mini reunion.
I'll be the odd man out. That's all right. I'm
You
used
know?
to
But yeah, I love my Shelbs. You can't hold a 2-hour conversation about sports. So let's start baby steps. Let's give it the opinion show, and then we can move on.
Well, when's
from there.
Lester gonna be on?
I don't know. That's Malcolm's cousin. No, that motherfucker. I got Shelby's number. I don't got Lester's.
All right. Well, let me know.
Mm-hmm. I can call.
I think I have info for both of them. If nothing else, I have an email.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen.
There you go.
Shoot them out. Shoot some invites.
I'll see what I can do. Oh man, you got anything else to talk about tonight? I'm running out of topics.
I don't
Beat
got
down
shit.
for the week.
Yeah, I'm ready for this week to be over. Is it 12 o'clock yet?
Negative, but we are at 11:20.
So, what's that, 39 minutes? 39 minutes to this week is over. I'm ready for it.
All right, so you look at end of day Friday as the week being over.
Get it out of here.
I hear you on that. So you got anything to take us out tonight, Cliff?
Viva la revolución!
Viva Viva la revolution. Oh no, you gotta talk for another half a minute because I gotta delete stuff off the
Libertad! Libertad! Fuck that.
I was only kidding.
I wasn't. Fuck that Quaalude and fuck your love in the morning.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna do my usual spiel. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, share on YouTube and Facebook. If you're listening to us on the podcast, do us a favor, subscribe, rate, comment. And with all of that, Cliff will be back tomorrow night with Hit the Showers, NFL Fight Talk, and I'm assuming you're going to cover the fight we watched.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could be on. Unfortunately, we got the kiddo birthday party going on at the same time, so I'll see if I can jump on for the first half hour, but we'll work that out.
Okay.
Outside of that, thank you all for joining us tonight. As always, I am your host, Michael Reggie, with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings. And as Cliff says, love everybody.
Love everybody. I was about to say something else, but I felt like it would be taken out of context. I was going to say except for the mentally ill, but not the actual.
Peace out.
Oh, we still